Hey gaming fans, so today's another Yu-Gi-Oh! GOAT format deck profile, and this one is, well, I guess it's a skill drain style of deck. The idea of this deck is to really just overwhelm your opponent with really strong, like 2,000 attack monsters. So hopefully if you push through about, 4 times, you win the game. But yeah, let's get to the deck. So, I mean, this is similar to the other deck that I did a while ago, a skill drain deck. So it's 3 giant orc. I think that that's common in most skill drain decks. He's got 2,200 attack, and he's changed to defense position, and he cannot be changed until the end of your next turn. So obviously a good card with skill drain, so it shuts off that effect, and he's just a 2,200 beater. Then of course we have, to go with that, we have the 3 Goblin Attack Force. Pretty much the same card, just 2,300 instead of 22, and he's a warrior, so you can search him out if you want to. For the rest of the monsters, we have 3 of the Berserk Gorillas. Again, 2,000 attack. It does have a slight drawback. If this card is turned to defense position, destroy this card. So unless, if your opponent's playing enemy controller, they can deal with it. But most of the time, that's probably not going to be an issue. You just can't turn him into defense mode to try and save your life, because he'll blow up. Unless skill drains out, of course. And we got 3 Zombra the Darks. I've been contemplating on this one to keep him in or not. I mean, I had him in and I pulled him out a few times. 2,100 attack, I like that. But his attack decreases after each battle by 200, and he cannot attack directly, which kind of goes against this deck, because you want to try and attack directly as many times as possible to try and get that final push through. Again, though, that relies heavily on skill drain to shut off his effect. So, I mean, there's a few options, ways to play around this guy. But so I threw 3 in there for now, because I couldn't think of any other monster right now as a substitute. And there's another card in here that works with it. And, of course, 3 Fusler Dragons. This is he's normal summoned at 1,400 if you want, without tribute. But then you can skill drain him to turn him into 2,800. Or bring him back from the graveyard with Call of the Haunted. Or there's another card in here that actually works with him as well. Fusler Dragon's one of those cards I really like to play with. It's fun to mess around with him. So that's it for the main monster lineup, or the Eve monster lineup. We do have 2 reinforcements of the army. Again, there is cards like Zombra the Dark, and then you got your Goblin Attack Force, just to try and get you there faster. So you got those cards there. So for the spells, we got 3 back roll removal cards. So I threw in Heavy Storm and Giant Trunade. Again, Heavy Storm was a card I was really thinking about, should I add it in here? Because we do play a lot of traps. This is a heavy back row deck, which is why I like the Trunade. The only problem with the Trunade is your next turn, your opponent's just going to put those cards back down on the field. But if you're pushing for game, this could actually save your neck, get rid of any pesky back rows and allow you to push your monsters through. I mean, you could go with Mystical Space Typhoons and stuff like that, more targeted approach. Then to get rid of your opponent's monsters off the field, because you want to try and attack directly as much as possible in this deck, because most times your monsters are going to get destroyed. So you want to have an open field and then blow your opponent's monster up so you can attack with your next monster. So 3 Smashing Ground. I was almost going to put this up to like maybe 3 Smashing Ground and a couple of Fissures, just so almost every turn you're going to be blowing up your opponent's monsters, just so you don't have to attack through them all the time, because most of the time your monsters will be big enough to go through your opponent's monsters, but at least, this clears out the, clears away the field so you can attack, because this deck doesn't really have a lot of resources to refill your hand, so if you run through your cards fast, you might be in trouble. So you want to end your opponent quickly, kind of beat down style. And of course there's Pot of Greed and Graceful Charity. I didn't think there was any need for the Delinquent Duo and some of the more popular cards. Snatch Steal was another option, but I decided to go a little bit more trap heavy in this deck. That's the spells. So on to the traps. So 1, Call of the Haunted, obviously. Bring back your Fusler Dragon at full strength, or any of your monsters, again, just to apply pressure. two interdimensional matter transporters. This is an interesting card because it literally just removes your face-up monster from the field for one turn. So, you know, if you played any of your obviously Fuselers or your Goblin Attack Forces, when it goes into defense mode, during your opponent's turn, for instance, you can just banish the card and then bring it back, and then on your turn now you could put him into attack mode and attack directly, or attack with him. And Fusler Dragon also will come back at 28 instead of 14. So that was the option, or the idea there. Of course, we got the 3 skill drains. The deck needs skill drains in it. That's what it's pretty much based on. You want to get to your skill drain fast, but we don't have a whole lot of draw power in here. I mean, we got the Pot of Greed and the Graceful Charity. So you just hope that you actually draw it within a first couple of turns. And then a card that works similar with the, you know, kind of way skill drain works in this deck, to shut off your opponent's or your bad effects of your monsters. The final attack orders will turn all face-up monsters on the field to attack position, and their battle positions cannot be changed. So that's again going to be good for your Goblin Attack Forces, because after they attack, they go to defense mode. This card will put them right back into attack mode, so you don't have to worry about it. So it's kind of like, you know, when you have skill drain down, these cards are no longer a hindrance. You know, so cards like that. Also with Zombra the Dark, if your opponent sets a monster, the way the final attack orders works is when you attack the monster, it gets face up and then it goes right into attack mode. So then your attack goes through during the damage step, and then you do all the damage. So you don't have to worry too much about, you know, little tiny monsters being set like a Sinister Serpent. Then, because we're playing a heck load of traps, we got 3 fake traps in here. I like the surprise of this card. Your opponent thinks they're going to finish you off by playing that one heavy storm, and they're not. You still got your skill drain up, you still got your final attack orders up. And of course, 3 solemn judgments, just to say no to everything. This deck could suffer against some certain back row cards and stuff, so you just got to be careful. Also, if they try to summon like a BLS or something, you just want to get rid of it. And of course, the heavy storms and everything to ruin your day. And then the final card, which I decided to keep in from my previous build, was the Deck Devastation Virus. This card can actually just win you games, because your opponent realizes what's happening, and they're kind of screwed. You tribute 1 dark monster with an attack of 2,000 or more. You have a lot of them in this deck. On your side of the field, check all your opponent's monsters on their field and hand and all cards they draw for the next 3 turns, and destroy them with an attack of 1,500 or less. So this almost depletes your opponent's deck for 3 turns, or their draws and their field. Really good card, underrated I think, but kind of difficult. You need to really get the cards to set it off. So Fusler Dragon, you can set him if you have to. Zombra the Dark, he's 21 and he's dark, and then you got your Giant Orcs to pull it off. Anyways, yeah, that's the deck. This is kind of like a modified version of my skill drain deck that I did before. I just thought it'd be fun to do one that just applies a lot more pressure by adding in like the beasts and stuff like that. Anyways, let me know what you think. Throw some comments down below. Let me know, you know, any ideas or combos you might have come up with. Hope you like the deck. Talk to you later.